Hey, it's Sam. Making this quick video here. It's actually an airport in San Diego. Just making a video about the tragedy that happened in Boston, the Boston Marathon. Terrible event, of course. You know, no one likes to see this. It's a real study in some of the things that I've been mentioning lately in the forecast. You know, we had all these planets just switch to Aries. We have the Sun, Mars, Venus, and the South Node all in Aries now. Right after the right after the new moon last week, all the planets moved into Aries. And in particular, we're also seeing another principle that I talked about a lot lately, which is combustion. There we go. This is actually a very quiet airport, San Diego, so I'm able to record. But we have Mars, Venus, both combust, very combust, in Aries. Now, they were also combust in Pisces, but you see the difference. You see the shift. Now that these planets have moved into Aries, it's not just Mars, Venus in Aries, it's Mars, Venus combust in Aries, deeply combust. And you see, especially right now, the combustion of Mars is exact degree. And Mars has the widest orb of combustion, 17 degrees. Combustion is a factor in creating irritability, sort of flashpoints of anger, and things like that. When the planets move within a certain orb of the Sun, and it's a little different for each planet, they become kopa, or angry, or frustrated, as it is in the Diptati of Ashtas. And in Brihat Parashara Sastra, you see it denigrated, and that any planet, like for instance if it forms a yoga but it's combust, many times the combustion tends to spoil the effects of the yoga and things like that, some of the time. And it talks about the planet as a house ruler spoiling the yoga some of the time. That's a little more esoteric than what I want to talk about in this quick video. But the principle of combustion is obviously really being shown right now, certainly with Mars and Venus so close. And again, Mars and Venus were close a couple weeks ago when they were in Pisces as well. But now they've moved into Aries. Mars is the ruler. Mars is also the ruler of the Sun. Of course, Sun is exalted, but Mars is ruling it. Mars is also ruling Venus. So we're getting a lot of this anger and irritability over last week. Of course, this is kind of scary because we have this international rhetoric happening with North Korea. I talked about North Korea in a video last year when I talked about 2013 and the year ahead. I not only talked generally about the year ahead, but I talked about three countries: Iran, Israel, and North Korea, and the United States. And North Korea is really following right along suit. And so that's really scary, considering that we still have a few more weeks with this Sun, Mars, Venus in Aries. So, you know, the other thing is when you look at the local chart of Boston at the time that it happened, there was a Leo rising sign. So the Sun, the ruler, was in the 9th house, and it was joined at Mars, Venus, and also Ketu, the South Node. We've entered the eclipse cycle. And you might say, well, the 9th house, you know, there's all these Raja Yogas in the 9th house of that chart, which there is, because you got Mars forming a Raja Yoga, just being the 9th Lord in the 9th, or the 4th Lord in the 9th. Venus forms a Raja Yoga as the 10th Lord in the 9th. It's a powerful yoga, and it is actually, especially with the Lagna Lord also in the 9th. Let's not forget what was happening. I mean, it's a tragic event that we see, but it was also a day of celebration. It was also a day of inspiration and hope, and, you know, a day of celebration in Boston. The Boston Marathon would have went off, and it would have been like a big kind of news event. Of course, Leo is also related to things like sporting events and stuff like that, but, you know, we have to be careful. Just because we see a tragic event happen doesn't mean that the whole event was, you know, started off that way. Excuse me. And in fact, what we see here is a corruption of the possibility, of the potential here. You'll often see, you know, a corruption of 9th house principles when you have things like attacks and things, because someone It's a corruption of morality, a corruption of principles. Principles and morality are related to the ninth house, and there's a corruption of them. So what I mean to say is that, you know, the sort of genesis of the event from the mindset of the perpetrator was some hopeful, you know, I'm going to set off bombs and explode them in Boston Marathon, yeah. And they're inspired to do that, you see. But it's a corruption of inspiration, a corruption of purpose, a corruption of meaning that we see in this kind of event. The ruling planet is in the ninth with the south node, about to be eclipsed, or at least in the eclipse cycle, with Mars, with Venus, which is also the third house lord, which is a cruel house lord, and all this combustion going on. So, a lot going on here, and I just wanted to make this quick video. Obviously, all of our hearts and minds and prayers go out to people that were killed in Boston, but also just the, you know, just the tragedy of having an event like that in your city. So let's pray for a lot of healing, and also for, you know, tensions around the world to calm down right now.